Hey guys, Paul Burry, Family Friendly Gaming, and I'm doing FFG Sports on the USFL 2022. So it was really cool the USFL came back, and one of the really wild and crazy things is in week 3, Noah and I both picked teams. So Noah picked the Philadelphia Stars as his team to kind of support. I picked the Birmingham Stallions, and I'm wearing my shirt here. The two teams in the championship game was the Philadelphia Stars and the Birmingham Stallions, which was like wild and crazy. We're like, whoa, the two teams we picked are playing the championship game. The championship game was a very good football game. It ended 33-30 with the Birmingham Stallions winning, and the Philadelphia Stars had the ball with I think they threw an interception with 16, 17 seconds left in the game. So they were trying to go drive and get a field goal and tie the game. So it was pretty exciting. It was back and forth. And especially the second half was really like, wow, this is a good football game. Now, just because the championship game was good doesn't mean the rest of the season was good. And quite honestly, there was a lot of sloppiness. And you got to go, I kind of expect that sloppiness to happen, quite honestly, when this is the first time these players are playing in a league together. This is, they played college ball and some people played pro ball, but they haven't played together, right? And so I was impressed that there was there wasn't a whole lot of false starts compared to say the Seattle Seahawks in the NFL have a ton of false starts. I'm like, wow, every game I watched at the USFL had less false starts than the Seahawks I've seen watching their game. So that was impressive. At least the false starts weren't happening. Now, there was other things. It seemed like pass interference or I don't know, unnecessary roughness, things like that. That I think generally most of the NFL players are a little better disciplined on most teams, at least, than USFL. So there's that. It was also really strange that the 10 games they had in the regular season they played in Birmingham. So all the teams were staying there, so they're all staying in the same hotel, and the announcers talked about it. They got to know each other and everything, and I'm like, well, that's kind of strange. That's a little weird, because so then it was like Birmingham always had a home game, but no one else really had a home game, even if they were the home team. They didn't have a lot of people in the stands, so that was kind of weird. Now they did go the playoff games and the championship, the one playoff or the two playoff games. There's 4 teams that made the playoffs. The 2 playoff games and the championship game was held in Canton, Ohio, by the Football Hall of Fame. So that was interesting how they kind of did that. It was a little different. All in all, I thought it was decent. I wasn't expecting them to be at the NFL level at all, and they weren't quite there. There were some wild and crazy games. I remember one early game we were watching. I think there was 3 or 4 turnovers back to back. I mean, it was just turnover. It'd be interception, then the other team's offense goes out there, fumble, and the other team goes out there and they throw another interception, or there's another fumble. I mean, it was just there was some wild and crazy games that if you were cheering for a team, you're like, what is wrong with you? Now, I did like what Birmingham did a lot of. They did a ton of running the ball, especially if they got a lead. If they got a lead, they would just pound the ball. Now, the USFL had an interesting rule that was shown in the championship game. Instead of an onside kick, you can take the ball at your own 33. You have a 4th and 12. You have one shot to get a first down. If you can get a first down, you keep the ball. If you can't get a first down, then you give it to the other team. So you have to make it to the 45, I think it was. I thought that was pretty clever. That was a different way of doing an onside kick. So instead of trying to do the onside kick concept, they just said 4th and 12 on your own 33. It is quite the gamble, because then if you don't make it and they didn't, then you put the other team in field goal range immediately. So that was kind of different. I'm interested to see where the USFL goes in 2023. I thought they did a decent job, and I said that they did some different things, some interesting things. A shorter clock to make the game go faster, have a whole lot more action was kind of cool. I think it was it 35 seconds, I think, maybe? They had instead of like the 45 seconds or 40 seconds in the NFL, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact number.
I think it's like 40.
Don't quote me on that. It was less than the NFL.
The NFL was 40.
You have to be at, I think it was either 30 or 35. So you had to be faster in the USFL. Had to be a little quicker. It was neat to see some of the different players get an opportunity again, and hear some of their stories when they would talk about them. The announcers. I really liked that running back for the Birmingham Stallions. He was really good. I thought he was impressive, and the only thing that he didn't impress me with was in the championship game. He broke this really long run, but you could tell at the end he was kind of jogging, so he got wore out and tired. Breaking tackles and getting there. And, you look at other NFL running backs, man, they break out. They're gonna go all the way down for a touchdown. It's like if they get past.
That's not always the case.
Well, most of them, Noah. Most of them will get there and get in there. I think about like Marshawn Lynch when he did that against the New Orleans Saints. Marshawn Lynch, just after he broke a bunch of tackles, he just he went on. He did it against Arizona Cardinals too. So I mean, that kind. So I think that guy may need to work on some of his stamina. Possibly, he may have been tired in the season. I don't know. There are some different teams, different cities. It's nice to see different cities like Birmingham get an opportunity to have a football team. I hope it does well. I'm also very curious to find out what happens with the XFL when they come in back in 2023. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.